Hello and welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all, and in this video we are jumping into TNB Trails once again, but after probably the most exciting update that it has ever had, at least in the past couple of years. Now, when the console mods were split into multiple platforms, TNB Trails unfortunately lost its ability to be played on next-gen consoles like PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Well, as of today, or rather probably, depending on the day you're watching this video, it might either be today or yesterday. Either way, as of now, the files for the next-gen consoles for TNB Trails have been approved and are available on the mod browser. And as of today as well, TNB Trails currently is holding the #1 trending spot on the mod browser. Now, if you're watching this a little bit further on in the future, it will probably get overtaken, as maps usually do. But with that being said, though, we're going to go for a little drive in this gorgeous truck, which I will have linked in the description box below. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that you can do out here on TNB Trails if you are a recent downloader or if you are just checking it out on your next-gen console for the very first time. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and fire this thing up and head out on the trail and do a little bit of an adventure. Now, one of the coolest things, in my opinion, about TNB Trails is the fact that there's so many different types of experiences to be had. Everything from really like backwoods trail riding all the way down to some gnarly rock crawling and simulated like camping roleplay. All of that stuff is here, as well as racetracks. You pretty much have free reign to experience whatever type of off-roading you want to, and it's all right there at your fingertips. Wow, look at me using all of these like buzzwords to describe this map. I don't know what it is with me and like buzzwords today. I promise that, oh my god, this thing has wild like amounts of torque, but I promise I'm not like doing some sort of corporate pitch for this map. I don't know where all of these buzzwords are coming from, but either way, the biggest thing that I really want y'all to watch out for on this map, and that I really want y'all to check out if you're new to it, is take the main road down over the bridge and try some of the trails on the right-hand side. Because what a lot of people do when they first come to this map is they will try a lot of the trails that are around the garage, but they won't really ever branch out from those trails. And while those trails are really, really good, there's a lot of trails that are further down the road into the wilderness that are a lot crazier than the trails that you'll find near the garage. For example, you've got this massive rock bridge up here, and the rock bridge, especially if you're on either a newer console or a newer, higher performance PC, the rock bridge will allow you to see a massive way out into the distance. And it's wild, actually, now that I'm playing this on my newer PC with a much newer graphics card, much newer processor, it's actually kind of interesting how the game itself sometimes has a hard time keeping up. So we've got the campground right down there by the river, which is actually a really great area to take photos and also to set up a camper trailer if you're pulling one. And if you're playing this map online with friends, you have so many different areas where you and your friends can get together for some simulated camping, overlanding, and trail riding. And really all of that stuff is at your fingertips the entire time. There I go again using corporate buzzwords to describe a map. I don't know why I'm doing that. I need to stop with the corporate buzzwords. I really have no idea where they're coming from. Maybe I've watched like way too many game releases this year, and so like, you know, after having watched too many game releases, I'm just used to hearing all of these words over and over and over again, and maybe they're just like seeping into my vocabulary like progressively. But let's go ahead and jump into this trail. Now, this is one of my favorite trail entrances on this entire map because it will challenge you. I mean, it will challenge your rig, it will challenge you right off the bat, and it also has a very authentic feel. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, this truck is on 42s, and it's still swallowing up the entire, well, tire in the creek. I mean, can you imagine going through a creek in real life that would completely swallow up a 42-inch tire? I mean, some of you have probably done that, and some of you as well may have never been on an off-road trail in your life, and so there's a massive range of people that play this game that are looking for experiences like this. And while I have been... Well, as I was going to say, before I was so interrupted, so rudely interrupted by the trail itself, as I was going to say, while I have been off-road quite a few times in the real world, I've never done it on a tire as tall as a 42. So it's definitely one of those things where I can appreciate the realism aspect, but I can't necessarily always relate it to the real world. The biggest tire I've ever wheeled on is a 37, which is close, but it's definitely no 42. Let me see if I can back up again. I am very like off balance now. I've kind of gotten myself into one of these situations where once you get kind of off the line that you originally intended to take, you really have to reset. Otherwise, you're going to be in a really sketch scenario. Also, my taillight is broken, and I don't like that. So I'm going to fix it. I love having dev tools. That's one of those things where being on PC is really nice for dev tools. It's one of those things where, like, you don't always, like, I don't always think about it, but whenever I want to, like, repair a tiny little bit of cosmetic damage, I am so freaking glad to have it. And not only am I so freaking glad to have it, but I also feel like at the very least, they should give us an option. They should give us an option in the settings to be able to turn off the cosmetic damage if we don't want to see it. Because on a lot of trucks, the cosmetic damage just doesn't look all that great. And I know that the modders try to make it look as good as they can, but like the visual damage modeling in SnowRunner isn't all that great really at all, even on the vanilla trucks. So for those of us that don't really want to have the visual damage on, I really feel like there should be an option to turn it off. Because if there's not an option to turn, I feel like it would be such a simple thing to turn off. Because even then, I mean, you could leave the mechanical damage on. You could leave the mechanical damage on and never have to worry about, you know, never have to worry about the visual damage, you know, messing up the truck itself, but you would still have to think about, like, keeping your truck itself healthy. And I feel like that would be a good happy medium. I feel like it would be a good dynamic, a good in-between. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be a feature that either maybe the devs don't want to implement it, or maybe not enough people are asking for it. I don't know. I've been asking for it for years, but it seems like it's one of those suggestions that doesn't seem to be very high priority for a lot of people. So if that is a high priority feature that you would like to see, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below, because it's a feature that I have wanted for so long, but I don't really know how many people share the opinion of wanting to be able to toggle, toggle visual damage on and off. I would love to be able to personally, but at the same time, I understand if that's not your personal preference. God, I love these realistic, like, riverside trails. The riverside trails are so good. And they're just something that you can zone out into. I know it's one of those things where some people like to play super objectively, but like when you don't want to play super objectively and you just want to put a really nice trail rig together and have a just chilled out drive, whether that's by yourself or with friends or to relax after a long day, this is such a good map to simulate that stuff on. And I know that I've gone on and on about this map over the years because it really has been out for years at this point. But with the addition of these next-gen console, or rather at this point, current-gen console files and all of the little updating that's been done over the years, it runs so well and so smooth, and it's just such a rock-solid experience that I honestly feel like it would be genuinely in your best interest, even if this is not your favorite type of experience in SnowRunner. It would genuinely be in your best interest to grab, you know, a good trail vehicle and explore and experience this map at least once, even if you plan on uninstalling it right after, because I do understand that it is large and it will take up a large amount of space on your console. But even if you do plan on uninstalling it later, at least give it one go, because I promise you will not be disappointed. God, look at that freaking view. You can even see some of the outlines of like the trails in the distance. It's so good. Ooh. I genuinely forgot how scary this part of the trail was. Because like Doom is right there. It's seriously right there. It's right over your shoulder, like at all times. You have to have a decent amount of travel if you're gonna come out here, because if you don't, you will end up rolling, and rolling here will get you into the river. There's no question about it. This is one of the most nail-biting trail sections that really this game has ever seen. Just a little bit. I love the red line grip level with these tires because it's got just enough grip to it, but also has just enough slip that when you're dealing with like that in-between of grip and slip, it actually starts feeling pretty dang realistic, actually. I don't know how the wheelbase is gonna do right here. We just gotta find the grip at the front axle. This is a really hard spot for a lot of vehicles. Let's see a little bit more wheel speed. Doesn't help. Oh, well, maybe it does. Oh, I think we almost had it. It's trying. Oh, we're gonna have to shut it down because that's almost bad. Ooh. We're good. No, we're not. Oh, no. Oh, that is the worst. That is the worst fall I have ever had off of that trail, pretty much ever. And that goes to show how quickly it can turn from like, oh, we're just having a regular trail ride over to this has gone catastrophically wrong and I'm in the river and I need to be rescued. But if you are on a next-gen console and you own SnowRunner and you have never gotten the chance to experience this, frankly, incredible map, you are missing out on one of the best experiences in this game, and I highly, highly recommend that you give it a try. But with that out of the way, thank you all so much for watching, and if you did enjoy, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time.